Good morning, everybody. This is Stanley Leggett, and welcome to my podcast, Talk About Everything and All About Nothing. Today, we have been talking about my PA, who I just trash every time I think of it, but he is my own kid, and I love him beyond. So, I want to introduce the world to the PA Peanut that I be talking about. Here he is this morning.
Good morning. Oh, that is hard.
I don't know how it got so hard. We've been talking forever. I know at least 20 years. So, Peanut, how did I rope you into being my PA just so I can rope you in to talk bad about you every chance I get?
Well, I think the biggest qualification that I had was the fact that you gave birth to me. And being tech savvy, whereas my parents are not.
Ooh.
Kind of.
I feel hurt.
Yeah.
Because I sit and work in an industry where I have to be tech savvy every day. I just been shot down.
Tech savvy to a certain extent. It kind of roped me in for the position. I was basically a shoe-in.
He was a shoe-in, but he's horrible work skills. And that's amazing because all my children love to work and make their own paper. Then you got Peanut, who think he's just a most entitled person in the world.
I might be one of the most entitled people in the world, but I also know how to work.
Antonio, tell us about what do you do when you're not being berated by your mom?
Oh, goodness. So being a PA, you would think that you're just a personal attendant. And that sounds cushy on the outside. I mean, you're supposed to just be able to, attend to a person. But honestly, to me, I think being a PA should probably be problem assurance, because I deal with all of the issues that I try to deal with all of the issues before it makes it to my mother, or when the problems make it to my mother and she can't deal with them. It is my job to make the problems go away.
So he do know his job. Now ask him, do he do his job?
Now, how successful I am at completing that job is still up to be determined.
No, it's not. It ain't. It's not.
I try my best.
That's what we're going with?
When I'm trying.
I hire him, but he only supposed to work 3 days a week, 4 hours a day, and that's it. I can't get 1 day a week out of him, but he expects to be paid on payday.
I don't want to be taken off the payroll, so yeah, continue to pay me. And I do tend to try to work a good 1 out of the 3, a good third of the days I'm supposed to be working.
Wow.
If not,
sound like he need to be fired.
If not 2 or 3 out of the 3 days, I mean, a good week. But it's just a busy life.
A busy life?
A busy life.
Well, tell me about your life since it's so busy.
Well, I'm just doing the do. Unemployment really gives you a lot of free time.
He can't free it up for me because he's not unemployed. He works for his mama. But he has worked for me, and I'm okay with firing him.
I, again, don't want to be taken off of the payroll. I would love to stay in the position that I have, because at the end of the day, I can't complain about my job because my job is rather cushy, and you can't really ask for a better employer than your mom, because though your mom will expect the most out of you, they are also the most understanding people.
No, they're not. What do? You attend school?
I do attend school. The semester is coming to a close, which has given me even more free time.
Amazing.
Any more free time?
Run.
I would like this. I'm more of a freelancer.
Who else you freelancing for? Because I can't get you. I know they want to fire you.
I am most definitely available for hire. I'm not expensive at all, but I am also not very attentive. But I can handle all of your technical issues, all of your editing problems, and any other problems that you might have. I am a Mr. Fix-It, but you've got to catch me.
I shouldn't have to catch you because he know when he's supposed to work. But we always have problems with my social media. Now that I give him credit for because he's like, Ma. Because I keep getting myself kicked off on stuff.
Yes. Things that you really don't get to see when listening to the podcast is that there is actually a lot of difficulties that come with running a podcast.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to social media, because that not only intertwines with running the podcast, but also running a personal life, and having those things connected and keeping them all functional is vastly harder than you would think it is.
Yeah, people, because you would think me on my podcast that like I still have a life, and I tell anybody who listens to my podcast, I work for a slaughterhouse. And that's my job. That's our bill pay money right there. I mean, I do have a husband and I have an adult daughter and my adult son that lives with me, and we all try to battle the bills together, but it's still bills. And it's not like we rolling in dough, because we are not. My podcast is my passion. It's what I want to do. And like I said, I always say I wrote Antonio into it, but he's really good at his job when he's doing it. And it's like, we found out really fast, like episode 1, even when we was doing like just our trial, getting all the technical stuff, like purchasing my microphones, purchasing my web space, and purchasing my podcast home, because you have to have an anchor for your stuff. I mean, you can just start talking and to get it out there, but for me to have people that's listening, and for people who I want to listen to hear the things that we just talking about, because like I said, it's just talk for us. I mean, you could talk all day in your living room, but then you invite people on and want to talk, and they get on there like, I don't know what to say. Oh my God. And I'm like, just talk like we always talk. And I can tell people that, but as soon as I hit that record button, then Peanut be looking at me like, Mama, stop eating. I can hear you in the background. Mom, put your headphones on, because you can be able to hear the echo of your voice. And I'll be looking, and he's my technical director, so I need to look at him, and then sometimes I forget to look, and then I feel somebody tapping me on my knee like, Mom.
Honestly, I think the during recording directions is my favorite and least favorite part of my job, because I guess no one can really hear what's going on with the recording other than me, but I would think that you would be able to hear what you're doing whilst being recorded.
But you know, because like I said, I didn't know about the table shaking until you was like, Mom, we're going to have to move location, because all I hear is that And then when I heard it record, I'm like, what the hell is that? He was like, that was a table.
It's honestly hilarious to like hear the finishing product, because you would never guess the hardships it takes to get rid of all of the creaks or the moving chairs or
Doritos,
the falling anything in the background. And
Sometimes I let the sounds go. I just announce, like when Sebastian comes in the room and you hear psst, or bark in the background, or you hear Mick come out her room. I just let them listen. I just acknowledge the people. But Peter, with me and my sounds, Peter said I have sounds for days, especially when I just all of a sudden bust out eating.
Yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing to try to edit out, a dog scampering into the room or a door creaking open. It's another thing trying to edit out someone pulling out a whole bag of chips during the podcast recording,
because it sounds very loud.
And then you can edit out the initial grabbing of the bag. But then you're just going to hear the crunch of the chips later on. And that is no fun at all. But that's all. I think that's all a part of the fun of recording podcasts.
Yeah, I think it is too. I mean, you want a smooth.
Yeah, a smooth, effortless recording.
Yeah.
But you never promised that.
With us, it's never probably going to ever happen. Because I'm not as funny as people think I am. But then Antonio said I am hilarious. Yes.
But, and speaking of having a seamless episode.
As usual, we have someone pops out and just starts speaking any moment. So then we understand not having a seamless episode. And like I said, by Peanut being my director in episodes, I have a tendency to look away and not look at him.
Yeah. But like I was saying, that is honestly one of the funner parts of recording podcasts. But you're quick to forget all of the other stuff. So
that's just the life of a podcast. And like I said, I want everybody to take up doing what they like. And I want everybody to, if you do one thing that you like, then you won't feel like you missed out on nothing. Yes. Like I said, I wrote my youngest son. He is my youngest son, Antonio. And most people don't know, because I say Peanut all the time. Most people don't know what his real name. Tell them what your real name is.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Antonio Rollins.
I don't know what the hard breath was about.
Yes,
but
pause for effect, honestly.
Not the dramatic effect.
Yes. Rollins by name. Hello.
McFadden by birth, yes.
Yes. But I do think that is one thing that I think my mom can really advertise to people about having the podcast. She waited a lot of years, but now that she's doing it, she's doing what she enjoys. And though she might not get the greatest monetary gain from doing it or get the greatest return in, like, it's not going to be 1 million views every episode. None of that. But she is doing something that she's always wanted to do and something that she enjoys doing.
Oh God, yes.
And
because I was like, I love to talk, and I never forget my mama telling me. But then I finally met the lady for most people who don't know, Carolyn Wilson is my mom's pastor, and I consider her one of my pastors too. She said I was a little girl, and we was in a laundromat, and she said I walked past her, and I came back, and I just started talking to her. And she said, I asked her questions on where she was and who she was and who is this and my name is. And even as a child of that age, I loved to talk. And then later years, we end up moving out of the projects, because yes, I did grow up in the projects too, even though people think that is not true. We was in the projects, and we moved into a home. We moved next door to Pastor Wilson then. And then as later years, her and my mom became good friends. And then she became a pastor at church, which my mama is a member of till this day. And when I go home, that's where I go and lay my head on the altar, because, I can do some things. I never did drugs like that. I've had drank in my life. And like I said, I did things, but it always stuck with me to want to talk about my life. It always wanted me to talk to people about their lives. And like I said, my motto is, I want to teach you a little something, and I definitely want everybody to learn a little something from them, because living a life completely is one of the things. Artavius Bethea said something the other day, and you know what? I always disagree with everything he said, but this one thing I fully agree. He said the YOLO, and I asked him, I said, what does that mean? I hear people say it all the time, YOLO, 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 and I finally, so Antonio said, what did you say to me, Peanut?
Oh, YOLO. It means you only live once. Yeah.
It means you only live once. No, you live every day. When you wake up, you only die one time when you go to sleep. When you sleep in that 6 feet under, that's it.
That's true.
But when you wake up every morning or wake up every night, whatever your schedule is, you're alive. Now, what you do with your life, that is up to you. And I always believe, if you need to talk to somebody to help you out, don't think of therapy as an illness. Think of therapy as a helpness.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a